A friend of myself, Willie, Zurich and myself started with Outlaws in South Africa in 1982, and we carried on with it. There were so many split ups. Then a lot of guys started the Bandits and the Outlaws against the Bandits. It was a lot of nonsense actually. I want to get rid of this little group stuff. It must all be one group, and it's just like sprint cars, that's it. I mean, that would be the answer. We all just want to race, that's what it's all about.
At this point in time, sprint cars at a very low, the problem I think is, let me put it bluntly, there were too many monopoly runners basically in the game. There was too many guys that owned too many cars, and they would dominate the racing, which is wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Those days of guys arriving at the track with big engines and big wheels and big wings and illegal cars and offsets, and that's all going to stop, because what they do, they get allowed to race during the year with the illegal car, and when a national comes they don't turn up. So then there's not enough cars to have a national. So if they get forced to drive with the right cars during the year, they will arrive at the national. And that's our aim now. So like I say, we've got guys supporting us. 99% of the promoters are in with us because it can also benefit them.
As sprint cars stand, it's a top form of oval, and it'll always be. Doesn't matter what car, whatever rocks up, there's nothing as spectacular as 20 sprint cars on a track. So what happens is, they want to do it their way, they don't want to do it his way, this side wants it that way. So to get everybody to stand together and do it as a team, it's very difficult. So that's what we're battling with at the moment, but I think, it's been dead for 5 years where there's been no good competition. The amount of cars in South Africa, there's easily over 100 sprint cars laying around, with two big guys owning 40 apiece, Active cars at the moment is about 30. At the moment we've got 20 guys together, which are really good racers. So to watch those 20 cars, I think it's spectacular. And what happens then, people get inspired to bring their cars back and start racing again. So we're on the right track, we just got to have a cool head and work on it.
I think the best thing that can happen is what we had many years ago. We had what we call the South African Sprint Car Racers Association, and we had close to 30 cars, and the cars were at its best, the racing was at its best. We had a show to sell. And I think that at this point in time there's a lot of personal things between guys which I think should stay out of racing altogether. Leave your politics at home. I don't have to love you to race with you. I don't have to bribe with you every weekend to race with you. I think the guys must leave all their political stuff, their personal problems at home, and stick to the racing.
This is Shane's collection of helmets and a bit of his dad's old stuff. If you look at that helmet up there, that's Terry Mersich's car. That was one most probably the third or the fourth American ever to visit South Africa in the 60s, 70s. That's Terry Mersich standing there with a car that they called Frankenstein. If you see the different wings and that on this car, it was so fast that they actually banned him. There you can see years ago it was a 3-stage wing, that's what they used to race with. And Terry then put 2 side wings on this car that they actually banned him, and then he cut the roll cage off and sent that car to South Africa. It's now at Randfontein with Rassie. This orange one here, it's an open face if you see. It used to belong to an American by the name of Dick Zimmerman. I'm sure if I send this back to America, they will put it in the Hall of Fame, because he was one of the great sprint car drivers in America. He came to South Africa a couple of times. His drinking partner was the late Harry van Spy, a friend of mine. I've got a photo sitting with Harry. He was a legend in sprint car racing. That's one of my gamblers Shane started racing with.
I was born into sprint cars. my brother, which is 8 years older than me, he was a superstar driver and still is. It came to one day, they needed a driver for a car at a track, and yeah, I was thrown into it. That morning I was told, you driving today. My father drove the other car and I drove his car, because his cars are normally a car that everybody can drive.
I started off with Charles when he was very young, and in the afternoons I put him in, I think he was 12 or 13, to warm up the car. And then one night in Pretoria, Cronje said, put him in a race. And I said, no, I can't, he's still too young. So we put him in a race, and I think he got third in the first race, so he's also a natural, yeah. And then Shane, he was a bit older than Charles when he started, but he was also a natural. I mean, the first race he got in, he also won. There was a guy, Johan Strauss, he came and he kicked Shane on the arse, and he said to Shane, if we get behind you, just give way.
He says to me, hey, when you hear us, just keep to the left, And I'm like, no, sure. And when the flag dropped, I was gone. I think all the terrifying, my father flicking me and all of it, just all came together, and I drove the cuck out of the car. The guy who said, when you hear me, move to the side, I actually lapped him.
And after the race he came and he says, it's not the first race, yeah, Shane really gave him a hiding. So he's also, both my sons are natural, so yeah. That was my first car bought from Johan Cronje, and I think on my third or fourth meeting, it was an old Stilfen team. I had an accident that they actually put in a newspaper that I was killed. My family from Potchefstroom, from Western Transvaal, phoned Sunday morning. Oh, telling my mother they're sorry to hear I got killed and all the rest of it. My mother said he's laying in bed. Willie Zurich and his brother Louis Zurich actually pinched me out of the hospital, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I said, take me out. They put me in the car and they brought me out. Broken ribs, broken knees, but I came home.
We're working tomorrow, and Mom comes sleep here tomorrow.
Oh, working tomorrow?
I don't know.
Are you joking?
What do you mean?
I want this car finished, eh?
Yeah. Oh, the sooner we get done with this shit, the sooner we start the life. That's what I want to do. The seats used to come to like here, and then there was nothing here, and there was just a little cushion headrest. Back in the day.
No panels, nothing, yeah. The seat only, it was like a school chair, man. It was up to you. Later on they started making a
little,
and then somebody made their own one on that thing. They put a piece of flat bar there. I can't remember where it was. He moved the wall, he broke his ribs because it couldn't give way.
and that's the other thing is like you think when these cars have an accident and you see them all crumpled up, you think, oh, it's a write-off, but that actually saves you because the softer the car in theory is, the more impact it absorbs, more energy it absorbs.
I drove Shane's one car. It had a 383. I mean, it's 410, it's a much smaller engine. I fucking qualified 4th. And 2 laps into the race, the fucking motor blew. Because I revved it like 9,000.
Yeah.
Now, hey, Shane was cross. He says, fuck Dad. I said, yeah, I had to keep up with you. What's going on?
So one year we were racing in Pretoria, and Charles and Shane have an accident together. Shane says when Charles closed the door, I want to like not be involved in this. But Shane goes over Charles's wheels and flicks him the wall. But like the Shires are the shot there. The seat tears out of the bolts. Shane bends the steering wheel down. And Shane saw it. He's fucking cucksaw. He's pissed off with his dad, and his dad says, listen, don't you want to come tomorrow morning? It's a Sunday morning. Come help me strip the car. By the time Shane had woken up, when Charles and I stripped his car outside on the street, Shane wakes up and she's what the fuck are you doing?
She's laying 2 hours up. I hired a garage here. I can get that chassis out, put everything in that chassis. Promoter of Pretoria at Deanwood. Yes, the wings are catching. We're really having a go, Shane and myself. So he comes to me. He says, old man, come here. Shane, come here. So we stand and he says, is that your son? I said, yeah. He says, is this your father? Shane says, yes. He says, why do you want to fucking kill each other?
Shane and his brother and his dad putting a lot of effort into it to get everybody back together again. And yes, after 42 years, I've seen so many things happen in the racing, and I've seen a lot of ups and a lot of downs. When I started racing, we were 4 sprint cars, 4. And I think if we counted, myself and Shane were talking just now, and I think we got close to 100 cars in this country, and we struggled to get 20 cars on the track. It's total nonsense. That's why I always say to the guys, we must have one controlling body that controls sprint cars, and that's it.
They're going to have to get guys that race the sprint cars that knows what it's all about, and it's not biased. It's going to take hard work, and it's going to take the promoters and the governing body to sit down and force the rules and get the Oaks to race. The promoters are going to have to pay, unfortunately, because it costs money to race sprint cars. We can understand if there's no people in the stands, but they must get sponsors too. I mean, in America, 200 cars turn up and only the fastest 50 can race, others go home. So why can't it happen in South Africa?